But before we do that, I want to do the next one because it's not quite as easy or intuitive, but once you do it once, it'll be easy. So the next one is this 2x plus 1. Okay, so here I'm going to do y equals 2x plus 1. So please type that. Then make a column for your x's and make a column for your y's. And you can actually choose the same values of x if you'd like. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to copy them and then paste them just to make it quick. Yes, you can use the same ones as well. Okay. Now, the values of y are not going to be the same, right? Because the equation here is different. But we're going to generate the values of y in the same way we did before. So what you do is click on the cell next to the first value of x, so the cell next to -2 here. Then you're going to hit equals. And what's the equation doing to the values of x in this equation? How is this equation manipulating the x? In other words, if I put a number in for x, what do I have to do to it to get the value of y? What operation is going on between the 2 and the x right here? Can you look up here so we can go through this quicker? What operation is what's going on between the 2 and the x? Multiply, and then I'm going to add 1. So I got to take this value, I got to multiply it by 2, and then I got to add 1 to it. Okay, so we hit equals, then we click here, and that tells Excel to put that number in for x. Then we're going to do times 2, which is the asterisk, shift 8, then hit 2. Then we're going to add 1. Then I hit enter. And then I drag it again, drag it down. There are all the values. So it's generating a table very quickly and efficiently, which is good. Okay. And then I believe the last one is y is equal to 1 divided by 2 x plus 1. And this one is a little bit trickier, but not that much. So we want to make sure we're on board here. I'm just going to do this so you can see where they're divided. Okay, so I'm going to make a column for x's. I'm going to make a column for y's. I'm going to reuse my x's, so I'm going to highlight them and copy them. Actually, I already copied, so you could have just pasted it and paste it. Okay, that's alright. So, Evan, if you can do that while that's fine. That looks good. Oh, I see. So you're back. So right here, put y equals 1/2 x plus 1. One half x plus 1. That's the next equation, which is coming out of this page of the book. So we're putting this one in right now. And then I did the x and the y, and I put the values of x in. Okay, now, same thing. This I'm gonna reverse it a little bit, and I should have reversed it in the previous one, but that's okay. So I'm gonna hit equals here, and then I have to put the fraction 1/2. And the way you have to do that in Excel is you're going to enter it like division. And you do that by putting parentheses around 1 divided by 2. So you're going to hit open parentheses. Then you're going to do 1/2 and then close parentheses. So what you just did was you told Excel to first do 1 divided by 2, and then we're going to tell it to do times x, which is asterisk x. Oops, excuse me. It's not x actually, it's times the first value of x, which in this case is here, so we click on that. Then we're going to add 1 to it. So you should have equals, open parentheses, 1/2, close parentheses, times, then click the value of x, which in this case is -2, then hit +1, then hit enter, and it'll do the math for you. Then click on the square and drag down. Okay, so those are all the x and y values for those 3 different functions. This one is here, this one is below it, and this one is below it. Now what you're being asked to do is look at the graph to compare it, to compare these. What we want to do is we want to compare this with that. So we're going to put all 3 of those graphs on lines on one graph. Okay. So here's how this works. Since all these values of x are the same, we are just going to select this column of x's once. So here's how it works. We're going to click and hold and go over to the y and highlight all of these. So I've highlighted all the x's and y's in the first 2 columns. Then I'm only going to select the values of y for the other equations. And here's how that works. You have to hit Control, hold it down, then click on the first value in the next column of y's and select those numbers. Then do it again for the 3rd column of y's, but you have to hit Control. So you should have the first 2 columns selected, then the 2nd column of y's and the 3rd column of y's only. And then you're going to do the plot chart thing on yours because you have the older version of Excel. And Spencer Glenn, you and I do the same thing because we have the same version. So you click on Insert, Scatter, and then we want to show the trend lines. You can title it whatever you want once you get into you're going to go to Insert, and then you're going to go to Scatter. Click on the first one, and then change it to the one with a line. Yep. Perfect. And then I deleted all those lines so that it was easier to see. If you're looking at the graph, you have 3 lines, right? And these 3 lines, this line, and this line, is one of these 3 different equations. Okay, I'll look at it in a second. If you look here, though, it says Series 1 is the blue dots. That's these. That's the